Picture this. You're at a red light, frantically shaking out your numb wrists while pretending to adjust your mirrors. Your backside stopped feeling anything 20 miles ago. You're limping into the gas station like you just survived a mechanical bull, and you've still got 2 hours to go. Japanese manufacturers build legendary motorcycles. Reliable, fast, innovative. Comfortable? That wasn't in the design brief. Today we're counting down the 10 most uncomfortable Japanese bikes you can buy, from mildly punishing to absolutely savage. We've even got a cruiser on this list, because apparently low seat height is no guarantee of mercy. These bikes aren't flawed, they're unapologetic. Let's dive in. Number 10. Kawasaki KLX-300. The KLX-300 starts our list gently. This dual sport tackles trails beautifully. That narrow dirt-style seat, absolutely brutal after 45 minutes of pavement. The minimal padding works perfectly when you're standing on the pegs attacking single track. Sit on it for an hour-long highway stretch and you'll discover new pressure points you didn't know existed. I've seen riders at gas stations pretending to check their phones just to stand up and recover. Push this single cylinder to 65 miles per hour and everything starts buzzing. Your hands go numb. The mirrors turn into vibrating abstract art. Zero wind protection means you're physically wrestling the bike to stay upright in crosswinds. For shorter riders, that tall seat means tiptoeing at every stop. By the third red light, your inner thighs are burning from the stretch. The KLX-300 is fantastic off-road. Just don't mistake it for a highway cruiser. Number 9. Suzuki DRZ-400SM. The DRZ-400SM has earned legendary status for reliability and Supermoto fun. It's also earned legendary status for having a seat that feels like sitting on a railroad tie. Ask any owner what their first modification was. The seat. Always the seat. This thing is aggressively firm and shockingly narrow. The 398 cubic centimeters single cylinder buzzes relentlessly at highway speeds, turning your entire body into a tuning fork. Wind protection doesn't exist. The ergonomics feel outdated because the basic design hasn't changed since 2000, and apparently neither has the seat manufacturer's cruelty. Here's the tell. Aftermarket seats aren't optional upgrades for the DRZ-400SM. They're survival equipment. When seat replacement is practically mandatory before your first tank of gas, you know something's wrong. It's a blast to ride, just not for very long. Number 8. Honda Rebel 1100. A cruiser on this list? Aren't these supposed to be comfortable? The Rebel 1100 proves that low doesn't equal plush. For anyone over 6 feet tall, this becomes human origami. The legroom is surprisingly cramped. Your knees fold awkwardly. After an hour, you're trapped in an airplane economy seat that happens to have 2 wheels. The seat padding is thin. After 2 hours, you'll feel every contour of your anatomy making contact with the saddle. Limited suspension travel means every expansion joint punches straight through to your spine. It looks relaxed. It isn't. The forward controls work for some body types, but torture others. If you don't fit Honda's exact template, you'll spend the entire ride searching for a comfortable position that simply doesn't exist. Your lower back will file a formal complaint. Test ride this for more than 20 minutes before buying, preferably over rough pavement, while tall. Number 7. Yamaha MT-09SP. The MT-09SP takes Yamaha's naked bike and adds sportier suspension. Sportier means stiffer. Stiffer means your spine absorbs what the suspension refuses to. That firmer seat makes sense for aggressive riding. Less sense after 90 minutes when you're shifting around trying to find padding that isn't there. The stiff suspension carves canyons beautifully, but treats rough pavement like a personal enemy. The aggressive peg position leans you forward more than you'd expect from a naked bike. Add zero wind protection and sustained highway speeds become an upper body workout. After an hour at 75 miles per hour, your neck is screaming, your shoulders are locked, and you're white-knuckling the bars just to stay planted. The MT-09SP is a canyon weapon. Take it touring, and you'll understand why sport touring bikes exist as a separate category. Your body will demand an explanation for your decisions. Number 6. Yamaha MT-10. The MT-10 brings Superbike power without Superbike bodywork. Unfortunately, it also brings Superbike discomfort. That frequently criticized seat, the critics were right. After an hour, you're squirming. After 2, you're counting miles. Above 75 miles per hour, the wind blast is relentless. Your crossplane inline 4 makes glorious sounds while the wind pressure slowly crushes your chest and arms. The stiff suspension prioritizes precision over comfort. The aggressive throttle response means you're constantly managing power delivery in traffic, adding mental fatigue to physical misery. Stop-and-go traffic exposes everything. The firm seat protests. Your clutch hand tightens. Your wrists ache from supporting your weight against the wind resistance you're no longer moving fast enough to justify. The MT-10 attacks mountain roads brilliantly. Just plan your fuel stops strategically, because they're mandatory stretching breaks disguised as gas station visits. Number 5. Kawasaki ZX-2. The supercharged ZX-2 is spectacularly fast. It's also spectacularly hot. That supercharged engine radiates heat like a space heater bolted between your legs. Summer traffic riding means sweat running down your back, thighs cooking, wondering if you should have bought the air-cooled bike instead. At least that would have been honest about its intentions. The firm seat prioritizes support over cushioning. The heavy clutch pull turns congested commutes into a left-hand strength training session. The aggressive stance loads your wrists. I watched a guy in downtown traffic fanning his legs out at stoplights like he was trying to air dry his jeans. The bike was doing exactly what the heat gauge said it should. He was suffering what physics demanded. Open road? The supercharged rush is intoxicating. Parking lot speeds? You're being slowly cooked while working the heavy clutch and managing 200 horsepower at 8 miles per hour. The ZX-2 is spectacular in the right environment. Urban gridlock is not that environment. Number 4. Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. The ZX-10R delivers full supersport ergonomics in a middleweight package. Those clip-on bars put you in an aggressive forward crouch. After 30 minutes, your wrists are protesting. After an hour, they're filing for divorce. That thin race seat is designed for movement during hard riding, not padding for your backside. The high rear sets fold you into a position that's perfect for the track and punishing everywhere else. Taller riders discover their knees tucked uncomfortably high, like you're permanently bracing for impact. Stop-and-go traffic is misery. Your wrists support your weight at every light. Your back stays locked in that forward lean. Your clutch hand cramps. The heat builds off the inline 4. The suspension is track-tuned, which means harsh on-street pavement. Every pothole reminds you this bike was designed for smooth racetracks, not deteriorating infrastructure. Highway riding requires serious core strength just to maintain position against the wind. After 2 hours, your entire upper body is fatigued. The ZX-10R is brilliant on track days and canyon runs. Daily commuting, only if you enjoy pain. Number 3. Yamaha R7. The R7 delivers proper sport bike agony at a middleweight price. Those clip-ons put you in a forward lean that's tolerable for 20 minutes and excruciating after an hour. The seat is firm and thin because race bikes don't need cushy saddles. Your wrists bear your upper body weight constantly. If you're not used to clip-ons, you'll develop intimate knowledge of wrist pain within 30 miles. The ride quality over rough pavement is punishing. What feels precise and communicative on smooth canyon roads becomes harsh and jarring on city streets. Your spine absorbs every imperfection the suspension refuses to. Try commuting daily on an R7. By Wednesday, you're questioning your choices. By Friday, you're browsing upright naked bikes online. The R7 is uncomfortable the way a race car is uncomfortable. Purposefully, unapologetically, your comfort was sacrificed on the altar of lap times. Track days and weekend canyon carving? Perfect. Everything else? Prepare to suffer for your fun. Number 2. Honda CRF 450RL. The CRF 450RL is a street-legal dirt bike. Emphasis heavily on dirt bike. Street legal is a technicality, not a promise. That 37-inch seat height means anyone under 6 feet isn't flat-footing anything. Every stop involves a calculated lean and hope. I've watched shorter riders at stoplights with one foot on the ground, the other leg extended like they're doing aggressive yoga. The narrow race seat is designed for standing, not sitting. 30-second sprints between technical sections? Fine. 30-minute highway stretches. Your backside will file a formal complaint, in writing, with supporting documentation. The single cylinder produces relentless vibration at highway speeds. Your hands buzz. Your mirrors vibrate into uselessness. Wind protection is whatever your body provides, which is nothing. You're a human sail attached to a paint mixer. The CRF 450 RL makes sense for serious off-road riders connecting trails via short road sections. It makes zero sense for anyone prioritizing street comfort. This is a competition bike with a license plate. Every comfort was sacrificed. None were mourned. Number 1. Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. Here it is. The most punishing Japanese motorcycle you can ride on the street. The ZX-10R isn't uncomfortable. It's systematically hostile to human anatomy. The forward lean is extreme. Your wrists don't just support your weight, they bear your entire upper body crushed forward by wind pressure. The high rear sets fold you into a racing crouch that's perfect for lap times and devastating for everything else. 30 minutes on the street and your wrists ache. An hour and you need to stop, stretch, shake out your hands. 2 hours? You're questioning not just this purchase, but your entire decision-making framework as a human being. That thin race seat provides zero padding because comfort adds weight and distracts from lap times. Your backside goes numb. Your lower back screams. Your knees stay folded at severe angles. Traffic riding is torture. Picture this. You're stuck in stop-and-go traffic on a hot day. Your wrists support your weight at every stop. Your clutch hand cramps from the sport clutch. The inline 4 radiates heat. You're folded into racing position to go 15 miles per hour for the next 40 minutes. This is your nightmare now. The ZX-10R offers zero street comfort considerations because street comfort wasn't part of the design brief. This bike was built to win races and set lap records. Period. Every ergonomic choice optimizes for aerodynamics and control. On a racetrack, it's brilliant. On the street, it's punishment. The ZX-10R doesn't apologize. It wasn't built for you. It was built to go fast. And if you can't handle the position required to make that happen, that's your problem. 10 Japanese motorcycles engineered to make you suffer. Function wins. Comfort loses. These bikes aren't bad. They're uncompromising. They prioritize performance over your spine, capability over your wrists, lap times over your ability to walk normally after riding. The ZX-10R takes the crown because it's the purest expression of this philosophy. Track performance above all. Your comfort was never considered. Your pain is irrelevant. Before buying any motorcycle, take a real test ride, not around the block. Ride it for 2 hours in the conditions you'll face regularly. Your body doesn't lie. Sometimes that dream bike looks better in the showroom than it feels after 50 miles of reality. What's your most uncomfortable bike experience? Have you limped off one of these machines swearing you'd never do it again, then gone back the next weekend anyway? Drop it in the comments.